Hello everyone, we are
The Nobodies,
and we are here on our own YouTube channel page because we got two things to say, and both of them are thank you.
Thank you.
Just today we hit 1,000 subscribers. We're thousandaires, and that's just absolutely sick to us. Oh yeah, look at that, I forgot YouTube's open, that's beautiful. Seriously though, we would like to thank you so freaking much for the opportunities you guys have given to us. We wouldn't be able to do things like interviews, these videos, get better equipment and stuff like that if it weren't for you guys.
Thank you again. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
So, without further ado, what are we here for?
Today, we are going to be interviewing Mr. Chad Szeliga, former drummer of Breaking Benjamin and Black Label Society, and also a band called Switch.
I am absolutely ecstatic right now, mainly because Chad Szeliga is the drummer of Breaking Benjamin, and Breaking Benjamin's my favorite band, like, of all time. So, like, albums like freaking, songs like Diary of Jane, I Will Not Bow, those songs are so freaking insanely good to me. So it's awesome that I get to interview the drummer behind those songs.
Yeah, it's crazy that he even said yes, and he's given us his time, and we appreciate that, and you know we're gonna tell him that when we get in touch with him also.
So we are going to be watching a different type of video of his to start off this. It is him just shedding it on the drums. Long story short,
he's gonna shred.
Let's do this. I'm Son,
and I'm Father.
Yo, he is absolutely killing it right now.
Yes. Great
oh my
job.
God, I
Great
didn't even realize
job.
that was 4 minutes.
Yeah, he ripped it. But yeah, totally smooth playing, like no struggle at all. And you know, he teaches too. He's actually a teacher for drums, and whoever is his student he's got it made, huh?
Yeah, you gotta wonder how many freaking pieces was on that drum set. That looks like a freaking 20-piece drum set right there.
Yes, yes. Well, you know what? I think it's time.
Yeah, looking in the chat, Danny Undead, congrats to 1K, guys.
Oh, thank you.
Seriously.
Thank you very much. Let's get in contact with him.
Yeah, let me set this up.
Let's hope he answers. Hello, Mr. Chad.
What is up?
All right, I'm going to turn the camera around so our viewers could see you.
Sounds good.
All right, excellent. All right, let's get you set up here. All right, excellent. Okay.
So, welcome to the channel, Chad Szeliga. It is super nice to meet you for the first time. This is absolutely insane to me. I'm a huge fan of your work, honestly.
Oh, well, thank you so much.
So,
all right, we got tons of questions for you, and you know, I hope you got tons of answers for us.
Hopefully I have tons of answers.
All right, well, the first question we want to ask you is, at what age did you start playing the drums, and what made you pick that instrument?
Well, the first question is when did I start playing drums? And I started drumming when I was 2. I mean, I wasn't like Buddy Rich good, but I was playing like pots and pans at a very, 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 very early age. And then later in my teens, I started taking it more serious, kind of got out of it, and then just got motivated to get really good and try to be one of the best in the world, and still striving for that to this day. And then the other question was what?
What made you pick that instrument?
You know, I just think the good Lord blessed me abundantly and wanted me to be a drummer. You know, there's stories where your family isn't musical, and then it's like, well, where'd you get that from? What gene did you pick that up if nobody in your family is a musician?
Yeah.
I was blessed. My family were all musicians. Not professionally, my father, but he was a great drummer, but he never took lessons. He just did it for fun. My grandfather played with Tommy Dorsey and like Glenn Miller playing trombone. And then my mom was going to play for the Cleveland Orchestra being a flautist, but she had me, so I kind of messed that up. And she became a music teacher, and she was really good at that. So
excellent.
God bless her for that.
Well, we just got a comment from a Nick Rosie. He said, Chad, you are my idol. You're the reason I picked up the sticks again.
Oh, well, that's very kind. I'm nobody's idol. I'm just, you know, a person you look up to. But That's very kind of Nick saying that. And, you know, in a million years, I never thought, one, I'd be doing interviews, two, I would be in pretty successful bands, and three, having such a great, you know, loving fan base. So I'm very blessed for that.
Yeah, and we feel the same way.
Yeah,
you being on
seriously.
our channel, we never expected this. You know, it's funny how things happen and how stars align, right?
Absolutely.
All right.
So, next question. What was the first band that you were with that introduced you into mainstream?
That's actually a really good question. I myself am not a rock drummer. I don't really claim myself to be a great rock drummer. I grew up on jazz and funk. So my first mainstream band was a band called Switch out of Strongsville, Ohio. And we were signed at a very early age, like our mid-20s. And I toured, did Ozfest, was on MTV and all that jazz. And that was like the first time I remember coming, not really for an audition, but to jam with the guys. And they were like, ride a crash. And I was like, ride a crash? I have 4 rides. What do you mean? And I had to kind of go and listen to like Van Halen, Machine Head, Pantera, Meshuggah, and kind of do my homework to really dissect the grooves and everything and understand really what rock drumming is. And it's not as easy as people think it is.
So, wait, you hadn't had a single thing to do with rock before you got into the rock scene?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's insane.
Very interesting. And you played with Switch for how many years?
Well, the band was called Not So Blah, and a previous band that I played with opened up for them, and the drummer became the lead singer, and we called it NSB, short for Not So Blah. And then it formed into Short Bus, and then it became Switch, and then we got signed. So I was in that before even getting signed in like 1999 or 2000. I was doing that for like 3 or 4 years prior to that.
Wow. And, Sean Lenhoff, our friend who introduced you to, he says Bella misses you.
I love his dogs. He's such a great guy. Their whole family is. Eric and Corinne, and every time I come there, they're so inviting. They allow me to come to their house, and Sean's just a great soul, man. His wife, Patty, and it's good to be around those kind of people. And him and I have a thing that we do call Adam Flowers, so we're still working on that. So
Excellent.
Props to Sean.
Yeah, Sean's a good man. Very good man. Thank you,
Yep.
Sean, again. Thank you.
Yes.
All right, so let's go into the Breaking Benjamin days. How did you get introduced to Breaking Benjamin?
It's really a weird coincidence how this all happened, but I was in the band Switch at the time, and I played with a band called Lifer, which are 2 guys in that band, well, at the time, Breaking Benjamin, Aaron and Mark. I didn't meet Mark. He was no longer in the band. I believe he already was in Breaking Benjamin. I met Aaron Fink, the guitar player, and he just kind of looked kind of miserable. I'm like, what's wrong, bro? He's like, I'm just not happy with this band. I'm thinking about changing careers, blah, blah, blah. And then, you know, we did a show with Breaking Benjamin. Now Aaron Fink and Mark are in this band. And this guy comes up with a book bag, a real lanky guy. He's like, hi, I'm Ben. And I was not being mean, but I thought he was like some just roadie, and I was like, hey, nice to meet you. Later on in my career, I didn't know he was going to be my boss. But always be careful how you treat people, because you never know if they're got the upper hand.
Wow.
And I remember that day, like, it was at Tank's, and it was us, I believe, Il Nino, and it was Camaro or no one. And that was when the new metal scene was still pretty hip. the music business was doing really well. And there were so many people for this band, Breaking Benjamin. And they announced, we just got signed, we're going to do our debut record, and we'll be back. I mean, it was a packed house for them. And I had no clue who this band really was. Some local band, you know? But such a great following. And I was, through acquaintances and networking over the years of being in Switch, I would call up, you know, Vader drumsticks that I endorsed, and a guy named Chad Brandolini, and, you know, blah, 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 and nothing would happen. I'm like, mention my name if, you know, a band loses a drummer. He's like, absolutely, bro.
Okay.
And I had another friend named Andrew, and he knew a friend of the band, a girl that dated a tech there in Breaking Benjamin's camp. Long story short, I almost had an audition because they just got rid of the drummer, and I was going to have an audition in Columbus because I'm from Cleveland, so it's like 3 hours away, and I was going to drive up there. A dime bag got shot.
Oh, I remember.
Yeah. And so they had to postpone the show, so I never got to really meet them. So Chad Brandolini calls me up and goes, Breaking Benjamin just got rid of their drummer. Like, this is months and months after. I said, okay. He's like, here's the drum tech's info, get a hold of them. I got a hold of them. I learned the songs in like 15 minutes, 10 minutes, 15, something like that. I was at my church always practicing, and then my ex-wife's like, well, why don't you do it like a video, but do it like a show where you're playing song into song. Now, at the time, DVDs were out, but for some reason I did a VHS tape.
No kidding.
And that's what I sent him. My pedal broke, the stereo was clipping, and then it skipped, so I kept on playing through it, and I think the band realized, wow, this guy can still play when his pedal breaks, the song skips, you know, song's distorted, but he's still playing, and he's playing it good. That's kind of how I got the gig in a nutshell.
Nice, nice. I got a question for you. What years were you in Breaking Benjamin, and what albums did you play for Breaking Benjamin?
2005. Later in 2005, all the way up to about 2012.
2000. Wow, that's a long run.
Because I was doing Black Label too in between that, so.
Oh, okay. Now, what albums did you play on?
I played on We're Not Alone, the song called Rain. We did a heavier version. It's originally acoustic, and they wanted to do a heavier version to put out. And then I did that, and then I did the Queen tribute with like Metallica and I think Foo Fighters, and we did Who Wants to Live Forever. I did that, and then my debut record was Phobia, and then Dear Agony.
Yeah, that was the great album, the one that had.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, that was amazing, absolutely amazing. You want to ask this question from our
yeah.
one of our fans?
Question from the crowd. What was your parents' first reaction when they saw you playing live shows with Breaking Benjamin?
Well, if the person that asked me this question has ever been in a band and goes, Mom, Dad, this is the band. I promise you, this is the band. I can't tell you how many countless times I said, this is the band that's going to make it, and it never did.
I know
like
that.
4 people, and in one part of the crowd was my mom and dad, you know? So to see me excel into a multi-platinum band, they were so ecstatic and proud of me, and you know, I've always been very blessed to have great parents that supported me from the lowest lows to the highest highs, and to this day they still support me in everything I do. That's
excellent. Okay, we got 2 more questions for the Breaking Benjamin era.
Okay,
we got what was your favorite song to play live, And what was your worst song to play live?
One of my favorite songs was always playing Evil Angel.
That's a great song. Oh my God.
Thank you. And Until the End was fun, and Dance with the Devil. About maybe those 3 songs. I really don't have a top favorite because each song has its own coolness to it.
Yeah.
And then my least favorite song. I wasn't a big fan of Topless, to be honest with you. I know a lot of fans love that song, but it's just something didn't do it for me. It was just too much screaming.
Too much, so the vocals had a lot to do with it. But your drums, it wasn't your drums that made it not good. It was the screaming.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of screaming. I get it. It's like great melody, and then they have to scream so people like them that like heavy music.
Yeah.
But I'm a type of guy that listens to like GNR, and when you listen to Welcome to the Jungle or like Unchained by Van Halen, those songs are heavy.
Yeah,
and they're timeless.
And they're singing.
And they're not screaming.
Exactly,
yeah,
100%.
I completely agree with you. Like, especially when like the vocals are like the forefront of a lot of most songs. It can like completely take you out of a song, even if the guitarist, the drummer, the bassist, and everything are killing it.
Yeah, I think like screaming works for certain bands, and I think those bands should just do what they do, and no other people follow that trend. And I think Seven Dust is very clever at doing what they do. Korn and Slipknot.
Yeah. Well, they're all good. Everyone has their own style, and
Absolutely.
You can't knock that. So, all right. So let's go into your Black Label Society days. We got a few questions. Okay, let's start with how did you get into that band?
Through acquaintances. Like, there's a drummer named Will Hunt, and he called me up out of the blue one night, and he goes, "Do you know any Black Label songs?" And I was like, I think I know Stillborn. He goes, "Good, because I'm going to fly you to Europe right now." And I'm like, whoa, I didn't say I was going to commit. These guys are scary, And he needed me to fill in for him because he had a thing that was an obligation to play with Evanescence. And they went on hiatus, and then all of a sudden she wanted to go back out, and he had to leave. So I was going to do that gig, but he's like, "I'll call you with all the logistics. I'll call you tonight." So he calls me later and he goes, "Don't worry about it. John Kelly from Typo Negative's on tour with us. He's just going to fill in." I'm like, whew, thank God. And then I was filling in for this drummer called Hourcast, and we actually toured opening up for Black Label. So
coincidence, huh?
And we became really good friends. Like JD and Nick Cantonese were like brothers of mine. And, that's kind of like history in the making right there. That's kind of how I really networked with them.
Nice.
Did you ever meet Ozzy Osbourne through Zach?
No, I never. Oh no, I take that back. But I met Jack and Kelly on Ozfest one night, and they were driving a golf cart into tents and destroying stuff. And I'm like, oh my gosh! And they're like, "Get over here, kids!" And they're like, "My dad's running this whole show." And they were like filled with piss and vinegar at that time. And I never met Ozzy at that time, but when I started playing with Black Label, we did a thing called Ozzy and Friends, and it was supposed to be Black Sabbath, but Tony Iommi got sick, so we just did like Black Label, and Zach would go up and play a song with Ozzy, then Slash would go up, and then Geezer Butler would play. So it was a really cool, group of guys just jamming some Ozzy tunes and Sabbath. So Ozzy comes in the dressing room one night, and he looks at my legs, and he goes, "Oh my God!" And I was like, "Oh, you don't like Leatherface and Michael Myers? Because I have like this whole monster theme on my leg."
That's awesome.
And he goes, "No, you have one hairy leg and one shaved leg, right?" Because my whole leg is tattooed, so I shave the hair to make it stand out.
Yeah, so you could see it.
So the next day, I shaved my legs completely all the way up to the top of my thigh, and it looks like I have pantyhose all the way down. And he never comes back in the dressing room, and now I have two half-shaved legs that I was proud to show him that I finally did what he wanted me to do, and I never met him again. I'm like, son of a gun, man.
That's awesome.
Yo.
All right, that's funny. Oh my God, I hope everyone's laughing right now because that's hilarious.
And I have some hairy legs. It looked like I had like Toto in the shower when I shaved.
Wow. Oh my God, I'm crying over here.
Another question from the crowd. Zach said you were the engine in his Ferrari. Would you ever play for Black Label again if you got the call?
Yeah, I love Zach. I love all the guys. I mean, I had such a blast playing with them. It wasn't my cup of tea at first because I'm more of the pretty-looking boy, kind of, you know, blonde hair, blue eyes, and now I look like the homeless Santa Claus. But it was such a great time. Like, I remember seeing Zach for the first time. He's like, man, you're too good looking for this band. You need to get in the, like, mud and jump around and get dirty. Because they have that look.
Yeah, they look like they could kick some ass for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, they look like barbarians. And they're the nicest guys you'll ever meet. And I played with them for about 3 years. And Zach probably was one of the coolest guys I've ever worked for.
Nice, nice. And if, okay, so let's go into what was the biggest crowd you ever played and who was it with?
It was with Black Label in Donington, England, and it was around 90 to 120,000 people.
Wow, that's a lot of people.
Yeah, and that was like a big festival, plethora of bands. We did one show in Warsaw with Metallica, and there was like 80,000 people, something like that, and it was unbelievable. They were doing the whole Black record from beginning to end.
Okay, yeah, so, well, you know what, so somebody had told us in one of our other interviews that when you look out, like, you see people past the horizon. It's got to be insane.
Yeah.
Oh, it looked like a boiling sea of flesh. I mean, I don't even know how you could get scared and stage fright because there's so many people. It looks like ants. Like you're flying in an airplane and everything seems fake.
Yeah, and you're part of that. You're the reason they're there. That's crazy. That's
yeah. And I'm like somewhat balding, so when you're on a big screen like that and you see this like yarmulke print, you're like, oh man, really? You start getting insecure now because you're playing in front of that many people on a big screen.
Well, good thing. Good thing it wasn't 4K back then, right?
Oh, you can't believe it.
Oh, that's freaking hilarious. All right, well, we went through some of your eras, so let's go through this era. So who is the new band that you play with?
I've been playing with this band called Black Star Riders. It's people that used to be in Thin Lizzy. Scott Gorham is the main guy that's, you know, the founder with the guys. Well, not maybe the founder, but wrote, like, Boys Are Back in Town, Jailbreak, and all that. Scott Gorham. And then you had Damon and Ricky, who obviously Ricky filled the void of Phil and the other people that have taken that spot. And then Damon Johnson was the guitar player. And the funny story is I was on tour with Judas Priest with Black Label opening up. We were in the middle slot. Thin Lizzy was opening up, right? And I met Damon Johnson, who I'm a big fan of. I love Brother Kane. So I didn't know he was the guitar player / singer of Brother Kane, who now is in Thin Lizzy. And then Ricky Warwick, who took Phil's spot, was in a band called The Almighty. And I met Scott Gorham that time and Brian Downey, who was the original drummer of Thin Lizzy. I forget the keyboard player's name. And then now I'm in the band, and I just got off a tour with Judas Priest with Black Star Riders.
That's awesome. Ooh. Great story.
Yeah, so it kind of went full circle. And I've been with these guys for about a year now, and it's been a blast, man. I've learned a lot from these guys, and this band is really a super group. It's like me with Breaking Benjamin, Black Label, all these other bands, Adrenaline Mob. Then you got Robbie Crane, who was the bass player for Rat for like 15 years and played for Vince Neil, and I think he played a handful of shows with George Lynch or something like, or Lynch Mob or
From the
something
Lynch
like
Mob,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, and then Damon Johnson of Black Star Riders, and he was the guitar player for Alice Cooper, the singer of Brother Kane, and then you got Ricky from The Almighty, and then Scott Gorham from Thin Lizzy.
That's definitely a lineup.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
what are your plans for the future? Albums, tours, etc.
Well, the band doesn't tour much in the States, but we did playing with Judas Priest recently with Saxon, so that kind of gave us some exposure. And we're not a metal band; we're just like straight rock. And I think we did justice, but you got people in leather vests and stuff, and I saw some Black Label stuff out there, so that was kind of cool. But the metal is pretty metal, the metal crowd, but we did really well, and I think we made an impact in the United States, where hopefully we'll be back here, but we're more UK, overseas, that kind of thing, because that's, where Thin Lizzy is from, Ireland and all that. So we're working on a record supposedly in February. We have a handful of shows, like this Saturday I'll be in Madrid, Spain for one show with the festival, with Buck Cherry and what's his name, Glenn Hughes, which I can't wait to see. And then we have like a handful of shows in July. Summer's pretty scarce because we did all the festivals last year overseas. So hopefully we'll do the festivals. Hopefully something will break with this band. And I'm a fan of the band. I didn't know their music before, but now playing it, I really like the material.
Excellent. All right, so we got one last question for you, which we would love to hear your answer for sure.
Yeah.
What do you got? Here you go.
What is one thing you want to say to your fans?
Thank you for all the love and support, and just being surrounded by very loyal people that stuck with me through the Breaking Benjamin debacle to leaving Black Label, and people understanding that I move on, and they've been always supportive, not like, hey, you're an idiot, why are you doing this, please come back to Breaking Benjamin. That is really warming in my heart to hear that people still love me for who I am, not just the bands that I play for.
Yeah.
Excellent. You have anything you want to say about them getting into the music industry?
Yeah, I mean, I just did this thing called Bandsation in Long Island last night, and I saw two bands perform, and I gave like my insights and they would ask me questions, and I would give them an answer, and it's really cool. Nowadays people don't go out and see bands; they just go on YouTube, and nothing beats more than going out and seeing true talent.
Yeah.
And basically tasting and smelling the cigarette smoke in the air,
Mm-hmm.
to dealing with debauchery, to this and that. It's just a whole experience. And seeing a band that's nobodies and might blow up, and you were there when they were nobodies.
I got it.
Yeah.
And I would say to the people today is just play, 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 and play as many shows as you possibly can.
Excellent.
Awesome.
All right. Well, Chad, we're going to now say goodbye and go into our outro. It's been a pleasure.
Seriously, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Answered every question.
Oh, my God. This was
amazingly.
such a great time. I laughed my ass off. I got to know about you. We got to know about your past. This has been a great interview.
Yeah, you're hilarious, dude.
Oh, thank you. Thank you guys so much for having me, and people definitely support this because, we need more of this. Not Instagram and Facebook. You need to hear this stuff.
No.
And
Yeah.
people need to interact with their fans and interact with people and not just write nasty messages. Be supportive. Be loving. We're all trying to do something, you know, it might not be your taste of music, but be supportive of it. Be appreciative of it.
Absolutely. I get it 100%. Just because it's not your style doesn't mean you can't appreciate it.
Yeah.
Absolutely, because somebody out there likes it.
Somebody out there likes it. Excellent. And I hope that somebody out there from our show today learned about you and now has become one of your fans. That's what we are here for.
Fans are always accepted in my library.
Same with us, man. All right, Jonathan, hit it.
So guys, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Tell us down in the comment section below what songs we should listen to because we take your requests. And press the subscribe button with the little bell next to it to get notified every time we upload a video. I'm Son.
And I'm Father. And you are?
Chad Szeliga.
Yes. Rock on!
Yeah, buddy!
Good night.